أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين آمنوا والذين هاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله أولئك يرجون رحمة الله والله غفور رحيم. صدق الله العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who believed and those who suffered exile and fought and strove and struggled in the path of Allah, they have the hope of the mercy of Allah, and Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Islam for Europeans. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I do apologize that I have not made a video in quite a while, but I did have a great interview with Brother Sensei Abu American the other day. I'll leave that link in the chat if you want to take a look at that interview. Jazakallah khair to Sensei Abu American for having me on. But today I wanted to talk about what mosques and Muslim communities or born Muslims can actually do to support converts, because most of the videos we've talked about talk about the overlying substructures that prevent your average Westerner from converting to Islam in the first place, b converting to Islam publicly, and C, staying as a Muslim for any length of time. But you don't want to be entirely negative either. So someone asked you this question as a born Muslim. He's like, well, if you're critiquing this model so much and the way the mosques are doing things, what can we do? And it's a great question. And I think it's important to answer because you want to have content that mosques and Muslim communities can actually apply. So first, let's talk about what mosques and Muslim communities are doing correctly. Because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Their hearts are in the right place. They're very sincere and they want to see converts to Islam succeed. So in general, the things that mosques and Muslim communities are doing correctly are, for example, giving a warm welcome to those who do convert to Islam. There's nothing wrong, with giving a hug to your new brother and sister in Islam, welcoming them into the faith. So that's definitely one thing. Also, like inviting them for dinner, for iftar, because Ramadan can be a very lonely time. And it's very difficult for us because a lot of our families are non-Muslims, and on top of that, we have work to take care of. It could be a very lonely month, not just for iftar, but also for suhoor as well. So I mean, inviting a convert over for iftar, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a great thing. It's a free meal, and it helps us get acclimated to the Muslim community in general. Also, they have community iftars at the mosque holds, and I mean, like inviting converts to that as well. Those are all really positive things. And then also Eid prayer. I mean, Eid prayer is the loneliest time for us, and I'll get it. Like even just like a small Eid gift, even if it's a couple of dollars. I mean, just means absolutely so much to us. But yeah, in general, just even inviting the converts over for Eid if you want. So those are all really good things. In general, I know mosques, they hold like open houses and stuff, and there's some positive to open houses, but it doesn't solve all of our problems. I think many of our non-Muslim family members don't want to go to a mosque, even if they have no problem with Islam, and they don't really interact with the Muslim community in general, and vice versa, right? So there's a lot of huge gaps, I think, and a lot of problems that masjids and born Muslim communities can't really solve, and it's just kind of beyond their scope. There's some of these issues are solvable with what we've been suggesting, which is a collectivization of converts based on a shared culture that will better address those issues. But in general, here's some of the things that mosques can do to help out converts. I think one is definitely, right off the bat, just giving us an opportunity to set up our own organizations and, set up our own, to have a converts have an organization that they run themselves, or a committee that they run themselves, that deals mostly with the issues of converts, because we know where these people are coming from, and it helps the acclimation process. So I think right off the bat is a referral system, right? So non-Muslims, when they're interested in Islam, or when they have questions about Islam or Muslims, um, you know, they will usually venture out into a mosque for the first time, and perhaps they have questions about Muslims and Islam. And although the imam is usually the person who's the best person to answer questions on a religious basis, for specific religious questions, I definitely think that new Muslims who are interested in Islam, or non-Muslims who are interested in Islam, should be referred to a convert organization, because, and also when people do convert to Islam themselves, so we need like a referral system, because if you have a committee of converts, right, that are handling converts affairs, like if we're not being referred, if converts are being referred to us, then it just falls apart, because they're not going to know that we exist. So a lot of this has to do with like proper advertising and making sure that converts are coming in, and we're helping them get acclimated, right? You can think of it as like a medical, and I keep using this analogy, like a local integrated health network, where you have, your general practitioner that handles like, your appointments at a medical facility. And if there's a problem that is beyond the scope of the general practitioner, they give a referral for that patient to see, an endocrinologist or a dermatologist or ear, nose, and throat doctor, right? So we need that kind of system set up, right? So that way, if you have an Islamic organization or a masjid that gets called from a new convert or someone interested in Islam, they could definitely let them know and give us the contact information of the convert committee, and that way we can help collect. We can get these converts coming in, to help, so we can help them out along the way. So that's definitely one thing, is a referral system, right? And vice versa. I mean, there's probably instances in which, converts or non-Muslims in Islam are going to have questions that are beyond our scope as converts. So that way we can refer them back to the imam. So that's definitely one thing, is a referral system. Secondly, is when it comes to education, Islamic education, there's a consensus from the converts from all walks of life, in the West, that the current educational talks and lessons and ta'aleem that mosques usually have are too advanced for new Muslims, let alone non-Muslims interested in Islam. It's like trying to teach graduate level classes to a first grader. Many of them, even if they're in English, and there's some mosques up until this day that only have lessons in Arabic. But even for the lessons that are in English, that are at masajid, many of them use a lot of Arabic terminology that non-Muslims simply do not understand. That's going to come with the territory once you convert, that you're going to expand your Arabic vocabulary. But I think it's too much at that point, especially even for new Muslims, let alone non-Muslims. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. We're teaching like a Quran 101 course, and I did one lesson a couple of months ago, and I thought it was going slowly, even myself, because I was just going through half of the alphabet, for the first lesson, and then afterwards they're just like, yeah, that was too fast for us. We can only take in like 5 or 6 letters every lesson. So it's like, wow, okay, so I'm glad I got that feedback. But that just shows you that you have to take things very, very slowly when it comes to converts, whether they're learning the Quran or just learning Islam in general. People they learn at different paces, right? Some people don't like the teaching environment whatsoever, and like prefer to live on their own. They prefer to learn on their own. That's fine. But I think in general, we need to have Islamic education classes that are at the level of non-Muslims and new Muslims, to help them get acclimated. Now, so I mean, the imam, or an educated Muslim at the mosque, can teach basically how converts can teach to our to other converts, right? So it's like a pyramid system. You don't want to the imam is too busy as it is. Educated Muslims are busy enough as it is, in with what they have to do. Many of them have full-time jobs. The imam is leading the prayer every day, and has all these other duties. It's a better option if the converts who are leading these committees are trained on how to teach teach Quran 101 and Islam 101 to non-Muslims and new Muslims that are coming in, right? And that way we can teach it ourselves. It doesn't have to be fall on the shoulders of the responsibility of the imam. The imam can teach us, and then from then on in, we teach the converts, right? So you have this, like collaborative environment. So that's definitely important as well. So that's another thing that I think that the mosque and Muslim communities can do. So yeah, the referral system, education. I think from the survey research we did, the most important things are teaching the very basics of Islam, and teaching the very basics of how to read the Quran. With the goal in mind that these lessons will be short, 4 or 5 week long courses, and the goal would be to learn Surat al-Fatiha and 2 other surahs, which is more than enough. And then once these, let's say these converts, they pass through that course, they complete it, they learn how to read the Quran, the basics of the Quran, then they can get up to a level where if they want, they can go to existing courses at the mosque that are at that level, right? So, I think also what can mosques and Muslim communities do, I think a town hall where you have the converts come in, especially the experienced ones who've been Muslim for a long time, and have a conversation between the converts and the born Muslims who usually congregate at the masjid, and just have an open dialogue. We like we all come from our different experiences, and we respect the fact that born Muslims have their own issues that we don't fully understand. That they're dealing with a lot of problems on their end, and we have a lot of issues that we're just fleshing out ourselves, and that we have to deal with. And the more open communication we can have between converts and the rest of the Muslim community, it's very vital, because like if we don't, I think resentment's going to build, and you're going to have almost no communication between the groups. So I think that is important. I think quote unquote conversations is a good thing. I think it promotes like more brotherhood and sisterhood for sure. Yeah. Also, I mean, you have to realize that converts, they're just starting out, and they're really most of them are not going to be at the level that a lot of born Muslims think we are. I mean, like, we're struggling with a lot of things in our personal lives. On the surface, you see a lot of them practicing very heavily, but the truth of the matter is, a lot of converts are just hanging on the margins. They're just hanging on by a thread. A lot of them, it takes them a lot to muster up to the energy and the courage to actually go to a masjid for the first time. So I think proper sensitivity training, to some born Muslims who are rough around the edges when it comes to dealing with converts, I think I think a really important thing. Most congregants at the mosque are very warm and welcoming, at least on the brother side, to converts. But other times you'll hear flippant comments, from born Muslims. I've heard on the sister side that some of the aunties can be very rough around the edges when it comes to making sure that the sisters are dressed properly. I remember one episode where like a new convert sister actually left in tears, even though she was wearing hijab. It wasn't up to the level that this one auntie thought it was, and just started screaming at her. So really, like, if you're gonna have like these some people at the mosque that are gonna like have this kind of like like appear very rough and strict, or whatever. And it's not the norm. I mean, most congregants who of the most of the Jama'ah who go to the mosque, they're very warm and friendly. They're very happy to see new converts, and that's wonderful. But once in a while, you do get those who are can say, some pretty harsh things. So I think, for those people, like their aunties and uncles, like you can't really, yell at them and you can't kick them out of the mosque. But I think what you can do is, some type of like sensitivity training. And if, there's nothing if they don't want to budge, then, there's really nothing you can do. So I think that's pretty much about it. Like I said, with our approach, converts are going to be mostly handling their own affairs, which is a big responsibility. This will take a lot of the work off the shoulders of the mosque in the first place. But there are still some things that you can help us with. I mean, like the referral thing is very important. Teaching converts how to teach other converts is another thing. Just the very basics. Islam 101, Quran 101. And like any help is appreciated. I mean, like I said, saying salam to us when we're at the mosque or on the street, that it speaks volumes to us. Return the salam, give the salam, because I know, in Muslim societies, it's not very common for them to say assalamu alaikum to each other on the street. This is something that is more common in the West, but still, like, it's not. A lot of converts are surprised to see that, like, no one's saying assalamu alaikum to each other, or very rarely, only to the ones that they know. So, like but for us, it's really important. I mean, it's important to say Assalamu alaikum to us because it makes us feel, like we're part of the Muslim community. And, yeah, so I think that's about it. I mean, I could talk about some don'ts. I mean, what should mosques not be doing? Like I remember, someone told me that there was a mosque where when a woman would convert to Islam, the first thing a man would do would take out like a paper with all these brothers looking to get married. That is not what you want to do. Like trying to marry off, these young converts when they're really not prepared and they're deen, they don't realize the cultural differences. They should be deterring them from, trying to get married too quickly. And sometimes this does happen. A lot of times the imam will be aware that, like they're coming into Islam already, dating someone who's not very practicing to begin with. And, the imam is really like, cut straight into the point. Like, you don't want to start off your deen on the wrong foot. Right. And another thing I want to say is that, just reminded me of another thing, is that born Muslims, I think they understand even better than converts that they should not be LARPing as someone from another culture, right? So you see a lot of these converts will convert to Islam and they want to fit in with the Muslim community. So, the next day they're wearing a shalwar kameez and a thobe and a kufi and, speaking with an Arabic accent. And they become completely unrecognizable to their own non-Muslim community. I think more bored Muslims, they realize that this is not a good look for new converts. And I think they should be, putting them aside and say, look, I know you want to try to fit in with the Muslim community, but this isn't the way to do it. If you've converted to Islam, you've changed your religion, but that doesn't change who you are. Are you still from your own origin? Try to adapt things, that are good in your culture and keep those things and just get rid of the bad things that are haram in your culture. So yeah, I mean, tell them right off the bat, be harsh with them if you have to. Please do not LARP as an Arab or a Pakistani, because your non-Muslim community is going to think it's cringe, and we think it's cringe too. So yeah, I think that's important. And yeah, just the whole new approach that we're taking. I mean, if we can get bored Muslims on board with this, that converts should be forming their own wolf packs, spreading the word around for this idea. That speaks volumes. And I think, having this, we need everyone on board with this, both converts and born Muslims, because this whole idea of having, like a collectivization of converts based on the shared culture will, inshallah, change the game and flip the script on the image of Islam and the West. Okay, so that's my time for the day. Please like and subscribe to Islam for Europeans. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. But that's my time for the day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.